Hello guys, this is Desmond2530 back again with another episode of my Battlefield Hardline weapon reviews. So today I'm going over the Scout Elite, aka the starting sniper rifle in the game. So yeah, let's get into it. The Scout Elite is made by Steyr, and it is a modernization of the Steyr Scout, or Steyr Scout, whichever way you want to pronounce it. It's Austrian, so I don't know how I pronounce it correctly. Either way, the weapon is chambered in 5.56, as like the M4 and stuff like that, and it is a bolt action rifle that you start off with in the Scout class, or in this case, it would be the professional class. So this weapon, I'm just gonna say this right now, is an absolute piece of trash. I'm just gonna say it straight out. Now, in this gameplay, you're gonna see me start getting one-shots all over the place. And time to address that, I'm in a server, and I didn't realize this until like 2 minutes in, that the server that I'm playing on right now, which is the only Conquest server at the moment that's actually active, has it to where sniper rifles have a damage multiplier. So, basically, unless you're hitting them in the legs, all sniper rifles are one-shot kills in this mode. So don't take this gameplay as a exact representation of how the gun works, because it is nowhere near this good. I guess let's get into the stats now. So, the weapon fires at 73 RPM, holds 10 rounds plus 1 in the magazine, and it also contains a damage model of 75 to 51, meaning that you can never one-shot to the body, unless you're in a server like mine. For the reload speed, which I actually have for some reason, is 2.85 seconds loaded and 4.3 seconds while it's empty. Overall, I don't think you're going to be using an empty mag, considering this weapon has 10 rounds in the mag. As for its bullet velocity, it has a velocity of 640 meters per second, and its recoil is just, well, it's basically zero. It's basically zero. Okay, time to get into my opinion on this piece of trash. So, there are only 3 redeeming factors of this weapon. Its recoil / starting attachments, its bullet velocity, and its bullet drop. Now, its bullet drop in this game is closer to that of real life than any of the other sniper rifles. And what that means is that you're going to actually have a much better time when it comes to leading your targets. So if you're going to actually be shooting at targets from a super far distance, it would be useful to pack this weapon. As for its attachments, it starts off with the Scout, or the Scout, 6x optic, a laser sight, and a few other things. I don't know the exacts, but I remember it also has straight pull bolt, if I remember correctly. I don't know, it's been a while. And lastly, it's bullet velocity, which makes it much easier to hit moving targets at range, obviously. So, when I look at this weapon, I see something that has potential, but doesn't bring enough to the table to be used. Mainly, this would be your weapon if you are sniping at extreme long ranges. The issue with that being, though, is that there are other weapons that just either do it better, or they do it almost as well, whilst doing other things much better. So, in my opinion, this weapon is not worth using after you get rid of it, unless you're on a server like this. If you are on a server that has one-shot kill rules for snipers, then this weapon is actually fairly good, because it has a higher fire rate than most other snipers that are bolt action. But other than that, I don't think this weapon's worth it in standard play. As for my main gripes with the weapon, simply put, it does not have any... Its vehicle damage is terrible, which is one of the main things that some snipers are actually good at. It has no one-shot areas to the body at all, which almost every other sniper does. So you have no way of killing a target unless you hit them in the head, which makes it so in panic situations, if you don't have your SMG out, or your machine pistol, you're pretty much screwed. And the other main thing that really detracts from this weapon for me is just the fact of it doesn't sound very, I don't know how to say it in a way that makes sense, but it doesn't sound very powerful. It doesn't give enough oomph. It just feels like I'm firing an AR-15 or an M16 in this game in semi-auto. That's all it sounds like to me, and I don't like it. I have been able to have some success with this weapon, though. This weapon is not completely useless, and like I said, if you're starting out, or if you're playing like a snipers only, like super long range lobby, this weapon can be useful. So don't just think because I don't like this weapon, or because this weapon doesn't do anything particularly great, doesn't mean it's not useless. And I think for a starting weapon, it is usable. It's passable, to say the least. And it's good for beginners, especially due to the super high bullet velocity and low bullet drop that will aid people who do not know how to aim very well with sniper rifles. So overall, for being a base starter weapon, I think this weapon is quite good. But as anybody who's gotten experience in this game and knows how to lead their sniper shots, this weapon is not worth it whatsoever. That being said, my recommended loadouts for this weapon will be one of two. One will be for night maps, and one will be for standard conquest, like, your standard gameplay. The standard gameplay one will be the one you're seeing right here. It will be scout optic, straight pull bolt, and laser sight, and stuff like that. Basically, anything that you think looks good, along with the scout optic and straight pull bolt, is all you need to make this gun work as effectively as it can. For my nighttime loadout, I recommend running suppressor, any one of them, a FLIR, 2x thermal optic, straight pull bolt, and anything else if you really want. The main reason why I'm saying this is because in some night maps it is hard to see, and with the thermal it will give you a massive advantage over others, and it will allow the Scout Elite's quieter sound whilst firing to actually make a sense. So it actually gives a good purpose to the fact of its less oomph in its firing sound. It will actually make it sound a lot quieter when you put the suppressor on it. So it can actually be used as a pretty decent stealth weapon. Aside from that, I will be giving 2 ratings for this weapon because there are 2 massively different scenarios in which this weapon can be used and in which it is actually useful. One will be general play with somebody who has had at least 20 hours into the game, and the next will be just beginning and starting at this game. Like, you've just picked up the game and you're not very good with sniper rifles. So for the quote-unquote noob, I give this weapon a 4 out of 5 stars. Simply put, this weapon is perfect for a person who has not played the game. It gives them the ability to shoot at long range effectively, shoot at close range somewhat effectively. It's a jack-of-all-trades weapon within its class that is terrible for the expertise, or the experts, but is great for the people that do not know how to use it effectively, because then this weapon's ease of use starts to shine. As for an experienced player, or someone who has unlocked other sniper rifles and used them, I give this weapon a 2 out of 5 stars. Simply put, this weapon does not bring anything to the table besides its ease of use that would make it viable, especially compared to the cop and robber equivalent unlockable bolt actions, which can equip 338 Magnum ammo, which makes them extremely powerful. So yeah, that is my review on this weapon. As for a general loadout tips, I recommend using either the MAC-10 or the G18 as your secondary. Simply put, those are the 2 most consistent ones when it comes to killing a target. And as for gadgets and stuff like that, I would recommend running cameras and trip mines. That's just your standard scout loadout. And for recommendations on what you should get other than this weapon once you've gotten used to sniping more, the R700 and the AWM are perfectly viable choices. And if you don't want to buy those weapons or you don't have enough money for 338 Lapua Magnum rounds, I would buy the M91, I believe it's in this game still, or the M98B, whatever. Which is a bolt action rifle that has a soft 338 ammo already equipped, so the weapon can do somewhat close to what those weapons can, just with slightly less in other areas. So yeah, that is my review of the Scout Elite. Like I said, if you are new to the game, I recommend playing with it a bit, but if you have gotten any experience with sniping in other games, I recommend dumping it instantly and trying to buy a new weapon. So yeah guys, that'll be it for my Battlefield weapon review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Comment below what next weapon you want, and I'll be seeing you guys all later.